I remember Oprah said, how can you gauge somebody's success level is the quality of towels that they have at their home. May start off at a Target and might end with a brand that I don't even know that exists that could cost $1,000 for a towel. I'm sure it's out there. Lots to talk about today, folks, as we have the upcoming launch of my new book. I was going to say More Knowledge, More Wealth, but it is How the Rich Get Richer. Okay, so this is coming out, the ultimate guide of financial planning and success. And I wanted to start to talk to you about each chapter. And I had the episode where I was talking about my why and why we're doing this. And then I went over all the chapters that we have. So I want to start off with chapter 1, talking about specifically rich people know what they want. I think this is a very important concept. And the reason we always talk about How the Rich Get Richer, which is coming out July 1st, by the way, don't forget to pre-order at GabrielShahin.com. But the important part of this whole thing is, everybody wants to be rich. So the funny thing is when you say how the rich get richer, it's quite frankly how successful people, how they got successful, or it's how you could become successful, right? You want to take advice from somebody who's achieved what you've achieved at a certain level of success. So when you take a look at what the rich has done to get to where they're at, this is what I wanted to share with you. It's truly how the rich get richer. It's not just for the rich to get richer, it's for also the aspiring to becoming financially independent. So there were 10 core items that I wanted to talk about, which I highlight in the book, but it's really what these successful rich people like and what they care for and what they prefer. And so looking at these items, I wanted to go over one by one because these are important concepts in the book where I go over in detail and relate certain aspects of my professional and personal experience to discuss what you should be doing. So let's get started with the first one of how the rich get richer and how rich people know what they want. The first one is discussing they want control. They don't want to give up control. They want to be in control. Now, the misconception for some people is when you hire a professional, whether it's an attorney, whether it's an accountant, whether it's a financial advisor, personal assistant, whoever it is to help you, the misconception is that you lose control. Where the reality of the situation is you don't. You're still the owner of the team. You just have other people running the organization. Or you could still be the coach of the team, but you have the players actually playing. Well, let's say you want to be a player. You're the quarterback of the team, but you don't play every position. You still maintain, and they still want to maintain a level of control. And the important piece of that is what? Is making sure that you are leading the way by understanding all moving pieces without having to do it yourself and not getting into a situation where you lose control. And the book goes into great detail of that. Number 2 of the 10 items here of rich people knowing what they want is some of them want power. Yes, some of them want to be put in a position to have more decisions to be made. And by having a team around them, it gives them more security and power. And that is extremely important because who doesn't want that? And if they have, and that's why they say money is power. It's not so much they're buying people, buying the Washington Post or buying these news outlets to get their initiatives across, but it's leveraging time so they can focus on the items that they want. And when people can do what they want to do, that's true power. Number 3, rich people sometimes just want things to be done easier. That's all. Why did people get TSA PreCheck? To cut the lines. Now there's a thing called Clear. Why did they do that? To cut they want it to be easier to go through an airport. Heck, now they even have a private luxury spot where you can pay a few $1,000s a year and go straight to the plane and go in a really fancy lounge with a high-class dinner prior to it. Wow, I feel like I got travel on my mind with all these conversations, right? But the idea is people want ease. They pay for ease. They pay for comfort. They pay for chauffeurs. They pay for multiple things to make their life easier. And if you think about it, that's sometimes the objective of money. The objective of money is to use it as a tool to achieve your goals. And for some people, those goals may be what? To simplify and make your life more convenient, which in fact is one of the items. So ease is important. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. We're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today, let's talk about the book that's coming out of How the Rich Get Richer that's coming out here on July 1st. And I wanted to discuss with you chapter 1, and I'm going to be going over a series of chapters of how to relate to you to take advantage. Just in case you don't want to hear the audio book and read the book, you can in fact get a summary of what the book is all about. So the first 3 was control, power, then ease. Now the 4th part is the simplicity of it. Now that is a little different than the ease. The simplicity part of it is truly that you are delegating out the complexities of your life. That delegation allows for you to have a simple mechanism to enjoy life and to have a simple mechanism to hold people accountable. Have a simple reporting system, maybe of all the properties that you have, or maybe a simple mechanism of your total assets and what type of income they've had and what have they yielded and what have they returned. So it's being able to use some of your resources to simplify your life no matter how complicated it is. And there is something to be said of how the rich get richer and their focus, their absolute focus of having a way to expand and what's the word I'm looking for? To really just to magnify their situation where they could still maintain that growth model. So to be able to scale is the word in a simplistic fashion. And that is really a massive key to success. So number 5, some rich people, what do they want? They want tangible goods. No surprise. This is probably what you think all rich people want, is they want the fancy watches and the fancy cars and the fancy houses and boats and RVs and planes and all that fun stuff. And yes, people do use that as a tool. They just want to be able, like I said earlier, to have the control where they can make the decision to buy those things if they want it. What I've typically seen is there's a couple different types. People that do like materialistic things. I remember Oprah said, how can you gauge somebody's success level is the quality of towels that they have at their home. It may start off at a Target and might end with a brand that I don't even know that exists that could cost $1,000 for a towel. I'm sure it's out there. So yes, people do care for that. People do want to enhance, whether it's a sense of exclusivity or a sense of true quality. Some people need tangible things to feel good about themselves, and nothing is wrong with that. To say that I don't like nice things, I still, funny, used to say I'm a very humble person, but I even noticed little by little, lifestyle goes up even a smidgen every year. And the idea is that, yes, that typically happens with everybody if you are doing the prudent things in your daily lives. So tangible items, for some people, it's a level of success. I've seen people buy fancy items as a reward for themselves for achieving certain either personal or professional milestones. Nothing is wrong with that. Who are we to tell you how to spend your money, especially if you can afford it? So understanding that, not judging somebody on the items that they want, but judging them on the goals that they're looking to achieve is a much more prudent way to say, you can and should be doing this, especially if they can afford it. Because I used to say, just because you can buy something, it doesn't mean you should buy something. But it's funny, I have had other people say, well, it's because you should buy it is why you probably can buy it, or something along those lines, or just maybe because you can buy it is why you should buy it, is what they say. And so it's funny how sometimes they reverse engineer it. So all you have to know is that this is the biggest one, number 5 of tangible items, is what everybody always fixated on what rich people do with their money. They always say this is what it's all about, is the tangible items. But if you notice, it's number 5, dag stamp in the middle, and talking about what they want to achieve. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the next 5 items here on the list. And the idea and the goal with this is what? Just to understand what I've seen in my professional career of what the rich wanting to get richer and what they prioritize in life, what they want. And the goal is not to imitate or copy this. The goal is to figure out what's important for you. And what's important for you is crucial. It's crucial for your success. It's crucial to make sure you can achieve what you want. So we'll be right back after a few words. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner and President of Falcon Wealth Planning.
We wanted to offer you a free financial assessment for listening to the show so you can help relate it to your specific situation. We offer multiple services such as retirement planning, where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, real estate, planning, even if you own a business, talking about taxes, not just how to save money today, but also throughout retirement. Talk about investments, making sure you're avoiding those high fees, costs, commissions, and also estate planning and insurance, just making sure you're properly protected if, God forbid, something were to happen. And we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, and fill out the form fill right there on our site.
Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here. And every week, and we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. Today, we decided to take some time to talk about the new book that's coming out July 1st, How the Rich Get Richer. And you can pre-order that on GabrielShahin.com. And it is an ultimate guide to wealth and understanding, as I'm going through every single one of the chapters here. And chapter 1 is Rich People Know What They Want. And I wanted to go over some of the 10 items that is captured in the book. And that is number 1, control. Rich people want power, ease, simplicity, and then tangibility. They want tangible items, right? Things that they actually want to buy. I'm going to go over the next segment right just now. I want to go over the next 5 items that we've seen that we talk about in the book. And number 6 is discussing how they just want no worries. Some of them, this isn't all, right? But they want no worries. They don't want to have to worry anymore. They have enough money for success. They have enough money if they were to pass away that their spouse or kids are going to be fine. And this is such a big deal. And sometimes it gets further than that with legacy planning. They have no worries anymore. Imagine, God forbid, I've heard this from a client. They said that if they were driving and they were to look and a car were to come and hit them, and were they saying the life flashes before their eyes, they would have a sense of ease. I thought that was so remarkable when he shared that. Kind of morbid, if you ask me, but I thought that was a bit interesting that he would say that. So being able to put yourself in a position where if, God forbid, you were to pass away, that the people that you care about will be taken care of. I thought that was powerful for sure. So that's what they want. They want to not be able to worry. It could be being able to go on a trip and not worrying about the cost. It could be that being able to help kids and not worrying about what their future is, because it will be financially secure. Could be about simple as making car payments or house payments or whatever the case may be. So it's just the sense of knowing that they can achieve what they want to achieve without a worry. Their worries end up being about taxes. Not that they can't afford it, but they may want to reduce it through proper tax planning. So understanding your why and what you want is important. And then figuring out what you truly want is going to be key. Number 7. Exclusivity. Sometimes they truly want exclusivity, and they pay this. It could be something like the Pearl Black card, the Centron card. It makes no sense to get those stupid cards. They're expensive, and the rewards aren't even that great. But it's the exclusivity is why some people want it. Some people want to fly private. Why would you fly private? Seriously, unless like you have to be somewhere or you lose a bunch of money by not being there. I can understand Taylor Swift flying private. She has to be at that concert or she's going to lose millions of dollars. It makes sense for her to spend $100,000 in a plane. You get what I'm saying? But for you and I don't think we would ever care for private. You get what I'm saying? Because you can get straight through 30 minutes before a flight. You can go straight through with TSA PreCheck, with Clear, all that stuff, and even spend money on a first class flight if that's what really makes you excited, and you could still get the same time savings, especially if you have some flexibility where you don't need to be at that specific location at a specific time. But some people just want that exclusivity. They want that in cars, they want that in purses, and they want that in clothes. That's why there are certain luxury brands that sell that. So exclusivity is everything. Some people just want to be important. It's nice to want to be important. And then, of course, the opposite, I always say, it's more important to be nice. But the logic is what? Is yes, we want that exclusivity. It's a natural thing. People want what they can't have. And when they're able to achieve that, that is huge. And it makes them feel some type of feeling of success. And I get it. And not everybody goes through that. Not everybody goes through this phase. It's not a necessary phase. But yes, if there's a long line somewhere, you want to be able to get cut in front of it. Who doesn't, right? So this is just something that they look to achieve. And if they can find a way to get that exclusivity, to buy into that, or to work with some professionals that only work with a certain level of success, then yes, that seems to be what they want. Let's move to number 8. Some of the rich get richer. Some of what they want is actual peace. They just want, and especially those who've achieved such levels of success where they're now known in their local city, in their state, in their country, or even the world. Sometimes it's be careful what you wish for, where you do in fact achieving what you wanted to. You became famous, congratulations, but now you no longer have peace. You can no longer enjoy a casual meal with somebody. I remember my brother telling me a story about Juan Soto, the baseball player. And he was literally across the street from him. He has a good relationship with him. And his agent, I guess, is my brother's neighbor. And he's met with him multiple times. They've hung out. And they went out to dinner. And it took probably about 20 minutes until everybody realized who he was. And then everybody jumped on his table. This was over in Arizona. And of course, the dinner was ruined. So there is something to be said of be careful what you wish for. And in a situation like that, I sure would not be happy if my dinner got ruined with my friend or significant other or whoever because all of a sudden one day I was famous, which I do not care for that at all. Number 9, what do rich people want? They want freedom. Now, if you notice, you're starting to see a theme here. Now, in this specific case, they want freedom to work not because they have to, but maybe because they want to. This is a key element that I think we all can agree with, where we want to be able to achieve financial security and financial success, where we can be able to do what we want. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to just blow money on the stupidest things. Like I said earlier, just because you can afford something, it doesn't mean that you should spend your money on it. So the logic with this is just to be able to put yourself in a situation where you can go travel, where you can go spend time with maybe kids out of state for a month if you wanted to, and your financial security is still strong. So freedom for everybody all across the world is something they always want. I've seen people that want to, and you've seen this with Mark Zuckerberg and a few other celebrities, where they've had bunkers in Hawaii underground to be able to survive. They have now the freedom to say, if God forbid there was a world disaster, I have a way to be protected. It's the same logic. They have the freedom to do what they want when they want. And so on something like this, this is just something that once you know what you actually want, and once you actually have the money to afford it, then you can do it. I want to have a second home near the water. Let's say that's what your goal is. If that is the case, to be able to have the freedom to go out there and enjoy it. I can't tell you how many times people buy a second house, whether it's in the desert, in the mountains, or near water, and they cannot enjoy that second home, that vacation home. Why? Well, they have the money to do it, but they don't have the freedom to do it. So being able to build yourself and to have that wealth, to have that power, to have yourself in a situation where you can actually decide if you want to take that month off. This is what rich people want. And I see it time and time again. Let's go over to the last one. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, it's Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth, here on every weekend. We're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today I am talking about the book that's coming out July 1st of How the Rich Get Richer. And we are discussing the key elements of the chapter, specifically chapter 1, which is what rich people want. And what they want is these 10 items that I went over. And the first 9 were control, power, ease, simplicity, tangible items, no worries, exclusivity, peace, freedom, and the last one, which kind of is in line with some of these items here, is convenience. I mentioned it earlier, told you I'd come back to it. Convenience is everything, and that's something that I've seen on multiple occasions when some people get to a financial situation. Now, we're not talking multimillionaires here. Just in general, for convenience reasons, it could be buying a house maybe closer to your work, family, or religious organization. It could be something as simple of being able to help your kids buying a house. It could be something as simple as buying a car. It could be something as simple as just buying something to help your life get smoother. I've seen people just order now on Costco.com, Walmart.com, and DoorDash just for convenience. They'll pay that extra 10% markup to now save them time to have it come delivered to their house. So it's just interesting that convenience is important for everybody, that it's still the same for everybody else. And that's where you have to see of how the rich get richer. It's not how the rich get richer. It's about you enhancing your situation. There is no difference from a rich person and you. The only difference is they've understand and valued certain attributes to themselves, about themselves, and they know how to execute on that. And they're able to put themselves for one step back for infinite steps forward. What I've seen, the difference for a lot of this is they're comfortable taking on risk. They're comfortable for delayed gratification to achieve their goal. And what we've seen now in this society is not a lot of people are willing to do that. They need to get the new phone, they need to get the new shoes, they need new clothes, they need that Starbucks, and they need to spend money on lunch every single day. It's easy to say. You know what else is easy? To pack your own lunch. You know what is easy for me? To lose an extra 10 pounds, eat better, and work out. How come I don't do that all the time? Well, that's why people have a personal trainer. And so this is where working with a financial professional is important. This is why it's important to just get advice. This is why this book is important for you. This is why I wrote it. This is just one chapter of the theme of the book of what you should be looking at. Just learn from other people of where you want to go. And this book is not talking about how to become Warren Buffett or Bill Gates. This book is designed to tell you what are successful habits that I've seen throughout my career. Folks, that was a fast show, and I hope that was helpful.
I want to thank you for tuning in with us this weekend. You can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go and visit our Knowledge Center, which redirects you to YouTube. We have over 1 million views, folks. And if you want us to discuss anything on YouTube, on the show, whatever, send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And if you want this episode, any one of our previous episodes, you can go on podcast, Spotify. We have them all there. And folks, we want to thank you for your trust. We want you to feel free and feel comfortable to reach out with any questions that you have. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. Have a great week, and God bless.